DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Well, is it written in the stars? I thought I so enjoyed having my next guest on our show. We brought him back, Julian Venables, the London Astrologer. He's been doing this sort of thing for over 25 years. He's got a lot of experience. So this week I thought we'd concentrate on 3 men in power or in powerful positions, and indeed one of them is about to have a chat, a sit-down interview with Donald Trump, no less, I think on Tuesday in the upcoming week. But I thought we'd take 3 men today, and don't worry, providing he's available, I'd love to do 3 women next week. So, Julian.
Hello, Trish.
The people I picked are Sir Keir Starmer, Nigel Farage and Elon Musk, because a lot of people have read a lot of things about him. So let's start with Sir Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
To put it mildly, he's been tested, you know, not long out of the blocks, as you were, and you might say, go, everything's happening for him. What do you see in his stars?
Well, Keir Starmer has the sun in Virgo. So this is someone who is very thorough and wants to examine everything for its suitability. So he's been given this power of Prime Minister, and he's going to be analysing a lot of things, because that's what Virgos are very good at doing. So he's going to analyse things.
They make good lawyers, obviously.
Exactly that, yes, exactly that. And so he's going to be differentiating how he can help people, you know, because Virgos like to help. And they like to sort what we could call the wheat from the chaff, you know? So they sort things through and sort it out. So he's going to be doing a lot of reorganising, I think, during his time in power. And but he's very diligent, he's very reliable. He tends to be one-sidedly practically minded.
Right.
So he'll you know, he's just going to have this focus, you know? Sometimes quite narrow-minded outlook, you know, because he's going to be like, I only want to believe in what's proved.
Everything has to be proved. Like a lawyer, almost like a lawyer.
Exactly, and that's why he had such an amazing career in law. Now, to add to that, he's got 3 planets in Libra. And so he's got the Moon, Mercury and Venus.
Right.
And Libra, of course, I don't know if you know your zodiac signs, but Libra is the sign of the scales, which is the scales of justice. So he has these 3 planets in Libra, which add to him having great experience in law and justice. So the Moon in Libra is someone who wants to appease people. So he's seeking attention and harmony. He wants to help and appease, but the Sun in Virgo purifies it. You know, really makes it so, you know, he wants to compromise. He'll always make compromises.
Right.
And he's very concerned with fairness.
Right.
And generally a sort of quite a friendly chap. But and then we look at the Mercury in Libra, which gives him balanced thinking, good diplomacy.
Right.
So he's going to be great on the political stage when he does all his foreign travels and things. People are going to like him because he's going to be a good representative for the country. He can have difficulty making decisions.
Really?
Yes, and he can be hesitant. So he might not be particularly fast at deciding what course of action to take, but once he takes it, he'll then
I guess that's all the weighing up and all of that sort of thing. So that could be or couldn't be seen as a downside. Are they good at things like patience and temper, you know, and all of those sorts of things? I mean, what are the personality pluses and minuses of someone like a Sir Keir?
Well, I mean, he's also got a very powerful planet, which is kind of what got him where he is today.
Right.
So he's got, when he was born with the Sun in Virgo, he happened to be also born with Pluto, and Pluto is a planet of great power. So Pluto is what, you know, it features in Nigel Farage's chart, it features in Elon Musk's chart, and Pluto will give him the encountering of his own shadow in life. So it's like his unconscious will come up, and it could be that he gets very serious, you know, about things. But he does actually have a somewhat of a hypnotic ability, and that could be in a good way. Could be seen as having healing powers. So he might heal the nation over a few years, you know, but he can act in extremes. So he can be the all or nothing. right, I'm going to do this, and and he can also get quite obsessed by compulsive ideas. Oh. So he might be like, well, I've got to do it like this, and he won't let up, you know?
Yeah. Well, that again is a lot. I want to leave time for the others. So you mentioned that something that you found both in him, and we'll come to Nigel Farage in just a moment. But the other person you mentioned is Elon Musk.
Yes.
So what do you see in Elon Musk?
Well, Elon Musk, you see...
What's that smile?
Yeah. Well, firstly, I think you have to ask, why is Elon Musk the richest man in the world, or one of the, the top 10, or well, how do you make billions? You know, I mean, there is a reason for that, right? So he happens to have his son is in Cancer the Crab, which is an emotional water sign, very family oriented.
Right.
Okay.
No, it's got 10 kids in it.
Yeah. Absolutely, exactly that. Exactly that. So he strives for emotional safety and security. Okay. Right. So he likes to build the nest or build the castle wall around himself. Yeah. And that's what also the idea of family is why he's had so many children. But he also has the sun in a challenging aspect to the planet Uranus. Right. Now, what this means is he has super exaggerated eccentricity and quite a lot of striving for independence. Okay. Mm-hmm. So his personal freedom is more important than any type of responsibility, which is why he's had several different marriages and makes children all over the place.
All over, and given them some pretty weird names.
Indeed. And so to go with that, he has Moon in Virgo.
Right.
Now this makes him very careful with his resources, and very critically observant, but super smart. Okay. Mm. And the Virgo moon people, that's 1 in 12 people have the Virgo moon. Oh, okay. But he loves his order and is quite the perfectionist. He tends to criticise others than himself. Okay, so in his own thinking, he'll be criticising himself a lot. Oh,
that's an interesting one. That's an interesting. All right, I do not want to run out of time for the one and the only Nigel Farage.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what you say, unless you say he can walk on water, they'll all go nuts out there. Go on.
So Nigel Farage is the sun in Aries. Mm. Okay, so they're very energetic, they're very direct, they have a very strong sense of individuality. He likes to get the action going, but he doesn't follow through. Mm-hmm. So he's quite the kind of, he'll get people all worked up, and then he'll just be like, oh, I'm going off down the pub or something, So he's quite confronting and challenging. Yeah. He likes to expose the shadows and the truth behind the facade. He's very impatient, but he's quite spontaneous, but he's very enthusiastic. He has, he's very grand gestures, high goals. He's easily motivated. He's the sort of person who's very freedom-loving, likes to travel everywhere. He can be a bit unreliable, but he has a very positive attitude towards life.
Right.
So he gets people going, you see. Yeah. Now, he's another Pluto character, because he has his ascendant in Virgo, where Pluto happened to be as well, and that gives him strong charisma. Okay, and magnetism, and he has the magical powers of attraction. Yeah, so people are like, oh, they can't help but look at him. He glances.
Are these the women other than his wife?
Yeah, but he also seems to. I think he's attracting many different people at the moment.
Right.
And I think he's quite big for I think that people, I hear that, when I watch the news and things, I see people saying like he's attracting the youth vote, younger people are getting very interested in him.
Disaffected people. But now, with all of these three men, I mean, if you mentioned one similarity they all have.
Yes.
Is that something that you see time and time again when you look at powerful men, that often will crop up?
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to say about Elon Musk, is he has makes him the very special person that he is, and the great luck. He has the star Sirius. Okay, so we've got planets in our solar system, the planets that we talk about, but then beyond that is the stars. And when he was born, he has the planet Sirius, which is on his rising sign. So it has to be very accurate. You have to get it spot on.
So what's that?
Well, it's like this. It's a star called superpower. It's a superpowered star, and that's why America, the July the 4th, 1776, America had its sun sign on Sirius. So that's why America is the world's superpower. And Elon Musk happened to be born with it exactly aligned perfectly to make him who he is. So it gives great good fortune, great wealth. It's a very very interesting star to understand.
I haven't heard of that before. It'd be interesting when we look at the women to see some of the women in power. Would they have the same sort of thing that you've talked about? So it's not something that goes with powerful men per se, but powerful people.
Absolutely, powerful people. Exactly that. It's like when people say there's a rock star or a film star. Why do they call them stars? It's because their birth moment, when they were born, picked up on a star. So a star meant a star was rising on the horizon or at the top of the sky.
We're nearly out of time. One thing I'm really interested in, what if you were born when a star was around and that star is no longer? Does it change anything? Oh, God.
Well, the stars move very, very slowly. Okay? So they take 72 years to move 1 degree of the zodiac. So it takes them 26,000 years to go all the way around.
Right.
From our perspective on Earth.
Right.
So they move incredibly slowly. It's just about the lucky people who get born at a specific moment of time. Right. So as they incarnate, as it were, they have their moment of birth, and the star, if a star's has to be kind of spot on.
But what if you're, when it comes to star sign, what if you were meant to be born, I'm making this up as I go along, on the 24th of July or something like that, but the doctors decide to, break your waters a week early. Do you know what I mean? If you're not born, most babies aren't. But what if you were meant to, do you still follow, it doesn't matter, as far as you're concerned, it doesn't matter what happens, what date you were due, or blah, 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 medical intervention, yada, yada, yada. The time you actually leave mummy's tummy...
Absolutely. That's first breath. That's the first breath. Yeah, that's how we do the birth chart in astrology. So when you see any charts, like a real astrology chart, it's time to the first breath. Wow. Because that's the first individualisation. It's like you're not part of your mother anymore, you're your own person. Yeah, well, most blokes are always part of their mother, don't they? That never changes. Listen, it's fascinating. I mean, whenever you get the chance, hopefully it's next week. If not, I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'd love to do the same thing with 3 women in the news, in the headlines. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. I do thank you for your time. It would be a pleasure to come back. Yeah,
there you go. Got them on the spot. Julian Venables there, the London Astrologer. Thank you for watching. I will be back next week, and I'll actually be in the studio in London yet again. I want to say a big thank you to Isla Lones, Carl Liberty,